Large pockets of the country are still either under complete or semi-shutdown mode. Now, how will small businesses be able to stay in business? Should you accept the loan through the EIDL program to keep yourself going? What about the Main Street Lending Program? What other options are available for small businesses that are the lifeblood of America? Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, and volunteer paramedic. One thing I am not is a lawyer, so nothing in this video should be considered legal advice, and you should most definitely seek legal counsel from a competent attorney or certified financial advisor. Once again, I really wish to thank all of you guys for watching, liking, subscribing. My channel has exploded recently in the past few weeks. I'm doubling every single week, and I'm on the trajectory to keep on going. This would not be possible without all of you guys clicking like, commenting, and subscribing. I'm very humbled by your support, and I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks. Look, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You are most likely not going to receive the full EIDL grant. You know, that was the $10,000 that Congress promised every small business. But since Congress basically screwed up the law, you're not going to end up getting it. I'm sorry. Now, maybe Congress will address this in the next stimulus act. I really hope so. But honestly, until then, it's not really wise for you to count on it. If you do not get the grant that you were expecting, what are the other options you have? As I read over the comments that you guys leave, I see a lot of questions on should you or should you not take the loan from the EIDL program. A lot of people are concerned because they don't want to have that additional debt that they know they have to pay back. Well, today's video has got all of this covered and more. Make sure you stay to the very end as there's some new bombshell information for both the EIDL grant and loans. All right, let's put the grant aside for a moment and focus on the larger picture. We'll come back to the grant in a couple minutes. For probably 90% of small businesses in America, the loan from the EIDL program is actually a perfect fit. Yet it really surprises me when I hear people say that they only want the grant and not the loan because they're afraid that they cannot afford to pay back the loan. Of course, everybody loves free money. Heck, I do too. But for most businesses, refusing the loan is actually very short-sighted, and it may cause irreparable damage to your business. Now, before you start screaming at your monitors and typing nasty messages that
he's just rich, he doesn't understand us, unlike unsubscribe.
All right, calm down for a minute. Allow me to explain. EIDL program, basically in a nutshell, was designed to provide emergency loans to businesses during times of emergencies. The CARES Act added some additional terms to the pre-existing EIDL program, including the grant authorization and loans up to $2 million to help small businesses survive during this nationwide pandemic. Now, sadly for all of us, the SBA decided to unilaterally change the rules, and they capped that $2 million down to $150,000. That is one of the big issues that's covered in the lawsuits, which I touched on in my video last week. The link is in the card above and is also down in the description. Okay, even with the $150,000 cap, if you're approved for the loan, what should you do? Well, in simple terms, the loan will be for 30 years at a fixed rate of 3.75, which comes out to about $695 per month over the next 30 years. Since there's no payments due for the first year, your payments will actually be slightly higher over the next 29 years, kind of catching up for that first year where you did not make your payments. Average loan amount is actually not $150,000. The average that I've heard from many of you guys is about $50,000. So in this example, your payment would be approximately $232 per month for the next 30 years. So let's think about this logically, not emotionally. With this loan, would you be able to leverage the funds, invest it back into your business, and make more than $695 per month or $232, whatever your payment is, over the next 30 years? Now, of course, you cannot use the EIDL funds for things like Number 1, payment of any dividends or bonuses. Number 2, disbursement to owners, partners, officers, directors, stockholders, or except when directly related to the performance of services for the benefit of the applicant. 3, repayment of stockholder principal loans except for when funds were injected for the interim basis as a result of the disaster. Non-payment would cause undue hardship for the stockholder or principal. 4, expansion of facilities or acquisition of fixed assets. 5, repair or replacement of physical damages. 6, refinancing long-term debts. See below. 7, paying down, including regular installment payments, of paying off loans provided or owned by another federal agency, including the SBA or a small business investment company licensed under the Small Business Investment Investment Act, Federal Department of Insurance Corporation, FDIC, not considered a federal agency for this purpose. 8. Payment of any part or direct to federal debt, including SBA loans, except IRS obligations. Additional requirements regarding the payment of the federal debt start at 75 of SOP. Number 9. Pay any penalty resulting from the noncompliance with a law, regulation, or order of federal, state, regional, or local agency. 10. Contractor malfeasance. And 11. Relocation. Whew. Wow, that was a long list. Don't worry, I'll link it down in the description below so you can just read it on your leisure. So, with that big list of what you cannot spend the money on, what can you actually spend the money on? The SBA provides a very long-winded, what a shock, government papers, description, and I would highly recommend that you do read it. Remember, I'm just some dude on the internet, but in my opinion, you can use it for any ordinary day-to-day business expenses. Really, the only big exception to your expenses is if you also participated in the PPP. In that case, the PPP funds must be used exclusively for payroll, and not a penny of your EIDL should be used for payroll. In my case, one of my businesses received PPP. Use that to cover the cost of payroll and health insurance for our employees. We used 100% of the PPP funds for payroll. Actually, we ended up using a little bit more, but the rest came from regular business revenue income. I handled this by setting up 2 different checking accounts at the bank, one for PPP funds and the other for EIDL funds. Then, when payroll expenses were made from my main business operating checking account, I would transfer the exact amount to the penny from the PPP checking account to my main checking account. Now, I know, this sounds confusing. Simply put, I'm sure you already have a business checking account. If you accept the PPP, open a second account and only put PPP funds in there. If you get the EIDL loan, open up an account and only put the EIDL funds in there. This will allow you to easily look at your bank statements and see all money that comes in or out of each one of those accounts, and you can easily account for them. And trust me, in the end, this will make your accounting so much easier. Okay, so now let's get back to why you should or should not take out the loan. This basically boils down to a straightforward question. If you can keep your head above water by using the PPP and or the EIDL to cover your expenses, do you honestly feel that you will still be in business in 2, 5, or 10 years from now? Obviously, this is a difficult question, as predicting the future can be almost impossible. But you should have a decent idea if you can survive this shutdown or not. So if you are reasonably certain that this lifeboat is what your business needs to ride out the pandemic storm, then honestly, you would be a fool not to accept the EIDL loan. Yes, of course you need to pay it back, but this is the cheapest money you can ever borrow for your business. It's also important to note that if you make any profit, you know that's the money that your customers pay you each month, that's yours to use as you see fit. Of course, there are the laws on taxation and embezzlement, so you can't steal that money. No, what I'm saying is that you can cover most of your expenses with EIDL, then whatever else you bring in from your customers each month, you can be reinvesting that back into your business, expanding and making yourself even stronger. Even if your business revenue is only 1/10 or 1/3 or whatever of your normal revenue, whatever you have, you can put that directly towards investing in the future. You know you have your bills covered thanks to the EIDL program. And honestly, that is the exact goal of the EIDL program, to free up some of your monthly cash flow so you can reinvest that back in your business. It was not designed to pay all of your bills and to recoup all of the money that you should have normally made. It's just there as a helping hand to kind of help you through this. Now, this will strengthen the overall economy by keeping most people employed and most businesses open. Now, you really need to be honest with yourself. The EIDL loan funds will not save your business if you were already failing before the pandemic. Sadly, if you had made poor decisions in the past and were on the verge of going out of business, taking out the EIDL loan is a horrible idea for you. Remember, you still owe this money back to the SBA, and they expect to get paid back. Owing money to the government is far worse than owing it to the local bank. In fact, it's probably on par with owing money to the mob, something you don't want to do. So only take out the loan if you know you can cover the payment for the next 30 years. Remember, this might be $300 to maybe $1,000 per month. And you will know the amount before you accept the loan. Now, I know this is getting a little depressing towards the end, but don't think of it that way. This is a fantastic lifeline for you. You should take advantage of it and invest back in yourself. Within a few years, you will be so thankful that you have. The loan has no early prepayment penalty, so whenever your business is back up and running at full force in a few years, you can pay off the entire loan and save a ton of money on interest. Now, while we're talking about interest rates, Jason has another incredible update where he broke some great news. I think you guys should all know about it.
How would you like to pay 1% on your EIDL loan? Yes! Yes, listen to this. Are you listening to me? Thumbs up, share this on your wall. There is an official bill in the U.S. House, fingers crossed, on its way over to the Senate that could be passed or brought up in the next 2 or 3 weeks that would lower the EIDL loan rate from 3.75 to 1%, just like the PPP loan. And how about this one? What if they forgive some, if not all, of the EIDL loan like they have with the PPP?
Thanks, Jason. This is huge. And if it's passed, you could see a huge reduction in the interest rate, and it might even match the PPP, going from 3.75 all the way down to 1%. If this happens, this would result in a savings of well over $76,000 over the life of your EIDL loan. Thanks to Jason for all of his hard work. Make sure you guys check out his channel and let him know the Stephen Carlson Show sent you. What other channels do you guys watch and love? Who should I feature here next? Why don't you comment down in the description below and let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like, subscribe. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it's something I appreciate. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on Thursday.